The Duchess of Sussex's estranged father told tonight's Bombshell documentary how he watched his beautiful daughter Meghan marry Prince Harry from a safe house after his release from hospital. In the 90-minute documentary that aired on Channel 5 this evening, a visibly crestfallen Thomas Markle described watching his daughter on TV walking down the aisle, shortly after he had been released from hospital after suffering a heart attack. In the extraordinary film, the 75-year-old detailed the breakdown of his relationship with the Duchess and accused Prince Harry of acting like a sensitive 12-year-old. The American has not spoken to his daughter since her wedding in May 2018, and admitted crying as he watched her tie the knot with Prince Harry. He said, "I stayed at a safe house and watched the wedding. My daughter looked beautiful. I wish that I could have been there with her. I was certainly appreciative Charles was there." An emotional Mr. Markle told the interviewer he was jealous of the Prince of Wales as he watched the ceremony on television, and that walking his daughter down the aisle was something I really wanted to do. He added, "I admit I cried a bit about that. To this day I can't forget that moment. She was beautiful. It was a nice wedding." He defended his decision to speak out in the film and to be paid for the lengthy interview. He said, "At this point, they owe me. The royals owe me. Harry owes me. Meghan owes me. What I've been through I should be rewarded for. My daughter told me that when I reach my senior years she'll take care of me. I'm in my senior years now, it's time to look after Daddy." The retired Hollywood lighting director, who has never met the royal couple's baby son Archie, described his relationship with his daughter as complicated. He insisted, "To them I don't exist, and now Harry, whether he realizes it or not, is part of my family and I'm part of his. We should be talking." He added, "He's not 12 years old anymore, he's got no right to be this sensitive." Mr. Markle, who divorced Meghan's mother Dora in the late 1980s, said the last time he spoke to his daughter was during an emotional series of phone calls days before her wedding. He was due to walk Meghan up the aisle for her wedding in Windsor, but offered to pull out when it emerged that he had made a secret deal with a photographer. He agreed to pose for photos which showed him preparing for the wedding shortly after Kensington Palace appealed for the media to respect his privacy. Mr. Markle said his involvement in the deal would haunt me for the rest of my life, and detailed a phone call in which Harry reprimanded him over the decision. He said that he offered to apologize to the Queen and the royal family, but was told not to do so. Days later, he was taken to hospital for emergency heart surgery and was told by doctors he would not be able to fly to Britain for the wedding. Recalling the series of phone calls, he said Harry had told him off over the deal with the photographer. He added, "Harry said to me, if you had listened to me, this wouldn't have happened to you. I said to him, it's too bad I didn't die because then you guys could pretend you were sad, and then I hung up on them. I was done." Mr. Markle said he had spoken to the couple after his operation when he learned he would not be able to fly to Britain. He said, "I'm sure Meghan cried and was very upset, and I'm sure Harry seemed upset." Mr. Markle also told the program, "Meghan and Harry said they would protect me from stress. Their protection was simply to say, don't talk to anybody." He did not hold out much hope of a reconciliation, saying, "The last time they might see me is being lowered into the ground. I don't think at this point they're thrilled to see me or want to talk to me." In the film, Thomas Markle, My Story, he said he was embarrassed and disappointed by Meghan and Harry's decision to step back from their duties as senior royals. The 90-minute documentary used previously unseen photographs and home videos to chart Meghan's early years, when she lived with her father between the ages of 11 and 18. In the past, Mr. Markle has claimed that he paid for his daughter's education. He said he had sold Facebook shares to pay £15,000 towards her first wedding to producer Trevor Engelson in 2011, but claimed she had given him no financial support since marrying Harry. Mr. Markle, speaking from his home in Mexico, also told how he only learned Meghan was pregnant when he heard it on the radio. He added, "It's almost a joke when you tell people you heard it on the radio. This is my daughter talking about my grandchild. She's going to have a grandchild that's mine and I'm not hearing about it on the phone. I'm hearing about it on the radio." Mr. Markle said he was ready to give evidence against the couple in a court case they launched after he gave one of Meghan's letters to the Mail on Sunday. He told Channel 5 he wanted to set the record straight after Meghan's friends had briefed a U.S. magazine that the letter was a loving attempt at a reconciliation, when he believed it was an attack. He insisted he had held back parts of the letter which were too offensive and too hurtful to me, but added, "I'm going to defend myself." The Duchess has alleged that the Mail on Sunday, the sister paper of the Daily Mail, breached her privacy, her data rights and her copyright when it published parts of the letter. The newspaper denies her claim and is expected to call Mr. Markle as a witness if the case is heard at the High Court. At his home, Mr. Markle proudly showed off various royal gifts he had received, such as a mug commemorating the birth of Archie, his grandson. And he even joked that he had heard about Meghan and Harry branded condoms. Viewers were treated to pictures of Meghan on the day of her birth, and he describes her as a natural beauty and the most special thing in my life. There were also pictures of Mr. Markle's upbringing, with pictures of him as a young man. In one picture of him as a boy, he jokes, "I looked like Harry, better looking." He told the 90-minute documentary about meeting Meghan's mother, and how he felt about his daughter was born by C-section. "Not everybody seems to approve of those kind of relationships," he added with regards to being in a mixed-race relationship with Doria. "People would look at Doria like she was a housekeeper. It wasn't fair. Of course it wasn't fair. I think she's going through the same problem right now with the royals. I don't think they know where to place her. She always looks scared. She always looks like a deer in the headlights." He spoke of his elation when he found out that Doria was pregnant and that he was knocked out by the child when Meghan was born. He added, "When they handed me the baby I was thrilled. I could not be happier. I looked at her and saw her face and finger around my finger, and that was it. I knew she was going to be special." The documentary was spliced with adorable images of Meghan fishing and joking with her father on various home movies. The 90-minute documentary, Thomas Markle, My Story, explores the background to what it calls his complicated relationship with his daughter and their dramatic fallout in the run-up to her wedding to Prince Harry in May 2018. Mr. Markle's intervention in the monarchy's worst crisis for a generation came as the Queen's top aides finalised a deal for the couple, who are quitting as frontline royals and leaving Britain to seek financial independence. The 90-minute documentary explores the background to what he calls his complicated relationship with his daughter and their dramatic fallout in the run-up to her wedding to Prince Harry in May 2018. In addition, it charts Meghan's formative years. She lived with Thomas between the ages of 11 and 18.